Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be ranking the Ninjago seasons, well, from the pilots all the way through to the latest season of Dragon's Rising. Ranking them and my opinion on them, and just which I think is the best and I think is the worst. However, Dragon's Rising we haven't seen part 2, but I'm going to include it since it is a season now, and yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. So for the pilots. Back when the Ninjago first came out, I think that was really good. It was a great starting point for the ninja, and it was really interesting to see. Season 1 was really good. I have to admit, I was getting pretty annoyed with all the snakes. There was just like so many of them. There was like so many groups and such, and it was kind of annoying in my opinion, but it was still pretty good. Season 2, that was alright. It's my second favorite season because it is quite good, and the episode Child's Play is in fact my favorite episode, so that's good. Season 3 rebooted. Again, I don't really like the Overlord. His voice sounded really annoying, and it still does. But in general, it's a really good season. Not to mention it has Pixane, and Pixane's just like the best ship in my opinion. So that is a good season. And to be honest, I think Pixane saved that season. Season 4 with Chen, he drove me mad with his button addiction and trapdoors. But thanks to Garmadon, he helped save the season along with the other Elemental Masters. With the fact that there was like so many different Elemental Masters and stuff, I thought that was really cool, getting to see like other powers and stuff, getting to learn more about the elements, and finding out that there's more than just the elements of the ninja. Season 5, for those who don't know, it is my favorite season. There is nothing I can say bad about that season because I absolutely love it. From the main villain Moro, from the fact that they're ghosts, or everything about it. Even the possessed whip is my favorite. Season 5 is just a great season in general, in my opinion. I can't say anything bad about that. Season 6, again, Narcon drove me mad. A lot of villains drive me mad, to be honest. Narcon was really annoying. He was basically just like a floating carrot genie. He was really manipulative. So I didn't really rate him much, but to be fair, his team was quite good. Clancy, I quite liked him, but Flintlock was my favorite. I don't know why, he was just really cool. And I think Jay suffered way too much in that season because he is my second favorite ninja, and I think he just suffered way too much in that. But yeah, it was an alright season. Season 7 isn't too bad. It's just like a hit and miss for me. It's just like, whatever. It's a season. Yeah, I need to watch it, but like, I don't really care too much about it in a way. It was just like in the middle kind of thing. But Chronix is really cool. I don't really like his brother, Crooks. It's just, no, I don't like him. Crooks hates technology, and the Chronix absolutely loves it. I'm just like, I can relate to both sides of them, because on one side I absolutely love it, on the other side I absolutely despise it. And at the same time, Crooks is just way too much of a hater of technology, and he really won't admit that it's useful. He's really stubborn. And for the Snake General dudes though, they weren't too bad. I mean, Commander Makia, she was really good. And to be fair, I ship her with a Chronix, just because. But yeah, that season was just meh. It was good to see Cyrus Borg again, and there were some interesting things there. But it was just a bit all over. But I did like how you get to see Ray and Maya, and you get introduced to Kai and Nia's parents. You get to see like the behind the scenes of what happened to them, because we know they were around, but they had for what we thought were dead, but they're not, thankfully. So it was good to see them, and that's kind of like just some of the things that worked. But I don't know, it just wasn't really a good season. Season 8 was a big step up from season 7. The ninja gone from looking at one design, then going to what's seemingly like the movie design. So it was a big step up that I really liked. And let's be fair, Lloyd's hairpiece from the movie in season 8 and onwards is my favourite Lego hairpiece. I don't know why, but I just absolutely love it. just because. But yes, I think they all looked great. The fact that Lloyd got a new voice actor is also good to show how he's grown up. And to be fair, I think it is a good season. The Sons of Garmadon are motorbike racers, and I'm gonna tell you guys, because you guys don't know this, but I'm a huge bike fan, like massive. I'm not into bike races and stuff, but I do really like a lot of bikes, and hopefully one day when I'm older, I'll be able to get a bike of my own. But until then, it's just something I really like. So hopefully one day I'll be able to get a bike. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like season 8 as well, because of all the bikes and stuff. However, I didn't really like Harumi too much. As soon as Ninjago said that there was a princess, I was just like, no. Because I do not like princesses. I can survive with the Disney princesses, because, you know, it's Disney. What's not to love about Disney? However, I don't really rate them as much as I used to when I was younger, because it's just like all the girly stuff and the happily ever afters and all that stuff, you know? Life isn't that simple. But to some degree, it's alright. So when I heard princess, I was expecting some actual Disney princess kind of thing in Ninjago. Obviously, that wasn't what happened, but you know, I was stupid. But because of that, my dislike for princesses, I just instantly went like, no, I don't like Harumi. Simple as that. Season 9, it was pretty good. I really liked the Dragon Hunters. Well, of course, I didn't like the Iron Baron. He was just a big no-go. But season 9 was really good. Seeing them in the first round was really cool. And getting to see some of the dragons as well was really nice. I mean, I do love dragons. Whether it's the elemental ones, the live ones, whatever the case may be. They were all really cool. And there was I did like to see Faith and Jack and some of the others. They were all pretty cool. I mean, some of them had weird names, like what was his name, Chew Toy, and what was that guy with the robotic legs? Wasn't it Daddy No Legs or something like that? I can't remember, but yeah, they may have been like weird names and stuff, but they were really cool. And to be honest, I really liked Heavy Metal based on her name straight away, because I thought that was pretty cool. Season 10, it was hit and miss. It was alright. It was just like simple enough, you know. They fight the Oni, they defeat the Oni. It was alright. It was like season 7, but it did well, and I really liked that scene where Jay finally asked Nia to be his Yang, so that was really good, and I really liked that part. So that's season 11. Let's start with the fire chapter first because it is in halves. I really liked the fire chapter. It was pretty cool. Svera got annoying with her revenge after a while, and yeah, she's just annoying when she constantly says revenge. Because characters that keep repeating the same thing, in my opinion, just get really annoying really quickly. However, she was really cool, and when she got the fire upgrade, I thought that was really awesome. It was really funny when they were smacking Kai around when he was unconscious. Yeah, it was just a really good chat. It was really good, and we also got to see Little Nelson doing some purple ninja stuff. So that was really good to see as well, because I do really like Nelson. He is a good character. For the ice chapter, I really liked the ice chapter. Evil Zane was really cool. But not intended. Yeah, the Ice Emperor was really cool, and it was an interesting villain. I did like Akita and Katara. To be fair, I prefer Katara over Akita. She's just set about revenge. She was planning to kill Lloyd's friend, because to her avenge her family or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but revenge isn't always the answer. You know, you just don't end up like Sphera people. Don't always set your life on revenge, otherwise you're always going to be thinking about it, and it's going to drive you crazy. But it was really good, and I did like the fact that they could change into animals. To be fair, when Ikita was a wolf, that was really cool, and I did like her multiple tails. But Katara was really adorable as a bear. I mean, what's not to love about a bear? They're so soft and cuddly. Um, but they were really cool. And to be fair, as it would be nice if they could do like more of those characters, like bringing back Akita and Kataro, and we get to learn more about the formlings, are they called? And what other animals they could be. Like they could be, I don't know, reindeer. They could be Arctic foxes, maybe. I don't know, because they are in a cold place. So maybe like, I don't know, a snow bunny or something, or a polar bear. Who knows? But it would be nice to see more like that in Ninjago. Season 12, Prime Empire, my third favorite season. I absolutely love it. It's a load of fun. I mean, it's a whole video game basically. And what's not to love about a video game? I mean, I know a lot of people don't really like season 12, but my opinion, I absolutely love it. I mean, it's not my first favorite. It's not my second, but it is my third. It is in my top three, and it's a lot of fun. To be fair, Unagami was a really good villain, and I like how he got turned into a kid at the end. Racer 7, or now known as Blazy H Speed, she is really cool, and she's a really good racer. I quite liked Scott as well. He was really awesome. Um, he was a really good character, and his base was really cool. The fact that it was invisible was awesome. So I could use with a base like that. And Okino, he was really good. I quite like Tokino as well. The Whack Rats, I didn't really rate them too much. They were just, bleh, I didn't like them at all, to be honest. They were just the characters that exist, but I don't care about them. You know, they're important to some degree, but I don't care about them. Um, yeah, they were really cool, and the Red Visors were pretty interesting as well. Um, they were just reminding me of how like Mr. E, well now Mr. F still doesn't talk. They were kind of like the same like design in a way, and I was wondering like what if Mr. E or Mr. F was like could get these guys and make a whole army with them in a way. I thought that could be a pretty cool idea. Okay, to be honest, I just thought of that right now actually. While thinking about it deeply, because they generally given me Mr. E vibes when I was thinking about them just now. So now I feel like Mr. E, F, whatever you prefer to call him, should get them as a whole army. You know, all those ones that are still evil, because we don't know what happened to those. We know some of them moved to live in Ninjago, and others stay behind in Prime Empire. But I don't know what happened to the Red Visors. So imagine if Mr. E, F, whatever his name is, got them as a whole army. That would be interesting. Yeah, that was just a random thing that just came through my mind right now, but yeah. But anyways, overall, Prime Empire is a really good season in my opinion. Um what comes after that? Master of the Mountain, isn't it? Yes. It's a good season. I don't really like Vangelis, but I do like the whole school design. The school design, the school theme, the bones, skeletons, love all that. And the fact that the skeleton dudes are like black as well, they're a lot darker because like normally the skeletons were all white, but now they're all black, and I think that's really cool and edgy, and I really like that. And Griefbringer is like Moro's dragon. It's absolutely slay. Now, now thinking about that, I think it would be nice to see Moro's dragon and Griefbringer side by side because they'd look absolutely fantastic. I bet the two dragons would be an epic duo. Not gonna lie, because they were just so cool. But yeah, I just like things like that. Sometimes just dark and edgy stuff. But that was really cool. Vangelis as a character, though, I didn't really like him as a character, especially as a school sorcerer. It was the whole school theme and the thing being around Cole and his mum being the main parts that I liked. I didn't really like the lowly, the upply, whatever you prefer to call them. Those guys, they were cool. I really liked the what was his name? The blue one. Plunder, was it? He was really cool. And Adam was adorable. He was an adorable little spider. What's not to love? But yes, I quite liked Master of the Mountain, and I did really like the final episode where Cole was able to do his burst. And I'm a huge shipper of Cole and Vanya, so it works out. Oh, and Chompy. Chompy is absolutely adorable. Baby dragon, cute, perfect. Loved it. It was adorable. Um, the island next, isn't it? Yeah. The island, short, simple, but it was really cool. The Island Keeper dudes, they were alright. Zippy, I absolutely love Zippy. He's a load of fun. Twitchy Tim, he was alright. Just crazy, but he was alright. They brought Clutch Powers back again, and he just drives me insane. Like majority of the characters. But all in all, it was quite good. It was just like, it's like season 10. It's like not much is going on, but it's got some good sides as well. And I did like how they were the Island Keeper dudes were sacrificing Jay. I'm just like, it's Jay again. It's always Jay. He's either something special, or he's not. And in that case, he was something special again. It just reminds me of when he was in Master of the Mountain, and he was really liked by the queen. What was her name? Tessa. Yeah. It just reminded me of that. I'm just like, okay, you guys really like Jay. And Nia's sassy remark though to what Kai said. Who wants Jay? Me. I'm just like, yeah, Kai. Nia wants Jay. I would too. Because Jay's pretty cool. He's a good ninja. My second favorite. But Nia and Jay are quite cool. And it was good overall. It was like when I first watched it, I was like, as I watching it, and as I saw the Wojira, I was like, something doesn't seem right about that thing, because it was like really foggy and stuff. I was like, something doesn't seem right about that thing, and then Lloyd landed on the tooth. I'm just like, that's fake. That's seriously fake. And to be honest, I thought the same of Lloyd. I thought it was going to be in the mechanic, and when it turned out being Ronan, I'm just like, Ronan, are you for real? Because we didn't see the main villain, obviously. And I saw the low-level thugs, and I instantly thought the mechanic. I was just like, it's the mechanic, the low-level thugs, I remember them from Prime Empire. It's obviously them. But it was actually Ronan, so I was just like, okay, now it makes sense. Because the fact he wanted all the offerings and stuff with a lot of money. I mean, that made sense. But beforehand, I thought it was the mechanic like Lloyd, to be honest. Yeah, so apparently me and Lloyd are dumb. We thought it was the mechanic, but it was actually Ronan. Seabound, it was an okay season. It was like hit and miss. Like, not gonna lie, I cried at Nia's death. I mean, I cried at Zane's, I cried at Moro's. Yeah, I cry at all the deaths basically. But yeah, that was like a really sad moment. Kalmar, I absolutely despise him. Wojira looked really cool, but like obviously overall as a villain, is this like okay? It was just like I didn't think it was fair that it took Nia to have him to merge with the sea to defeat her, but I thought it was pretty cool overall. The Merlopians were really cool as well. They were really good, and not to lie, Benthamar is absolutely adorable. He's like a little fishy boy, and when they did the flashbacks to when he was younger, that's when I couldn't take it because I thought he was so adorable. He's one of those side characters that are just like, yes, they're adorable, protect them kind of thing, because they're just so adorable. But like, yeah, he was a really good character, and he's a really good character in my opinion. Kalmar, on the other hand, I hate him, and the king before Kalmar, I can't remember his name. I last saw Seabound like last year or something. But whatever his name was, he was alright. He was pretty cool. I thought he was really awesome, and I quite liked him a lot. Shame Kalmar had to just boot him off basically. But I thought it was like really cool, and it was a really nice character. But overall, I thought it was really interesting and a lot of fun. It was an alright season. Crystallized, the new ninja, I absolutely hate them, to be fair. I do like how they're like, okay, they're bringing in new ninja, they're using different colors, but like, they're not part of the ninja team, they don't have any elemental powers or ninjutsu, and they're basically all just big-headed, basically. And I saw the orange ninja, I was just like, but my character's been the orange ninja since before Crystallize even came out. So I was just like, how dare you? And then like how the group was just seemingly all big-headed and stuff. I'm just like, no, I do not like these guys. I found them quite annoying and stuff. But Misdemeanor, she was pretty cool as well, and she was a really good character. The fact that they brought back Harumi, I absolutely hated it. Bringing back the Overlord again, hated it. Bringing back some of the other villains as well. It was interesting to see how they're like bringing villains into a council and turning them against the villains. That was a good idea. However, I didn't think it worked with Harumi because she should have been dead. And the Overlord, I mean, how many times can you keep bringing back the same guy? I know he's like an eternal being and thing, you can't really kill him off, but like, come on, it's like he was there in season 2, he was there in season 3, and he's been gone for like a long time, and now he just suddenly shows back up in Crystallize. I mean, what the actual fudge cakes, but you know, whatever. But it was really cool, to be honest. Lloyd's only form was great. Garmadon, when I was seeing him dancing with the pizza in Vinny's flat, I was literally like, is this the same Garmadon? I thought he was off his rocker, seriously. He looked like he had too many cups of coffee or bottles of soda. Seriously, I couldn't believe it was the same Garmadon. And the fact that he had a plan, I was just like, okay, you have a plan. You know, I've heard of it because before I watched it, I heard that he had a plan. I was like, okay, whatever. And then when I was actually watching it and his plant got destroyed when the flat did, I was like, damn, do not harass Garmadon's plan because he will go haywire. I was literally thinking back, I was like, is this the same Garmadon? You know, from the beginning when he was like the Shadow all the way through as Sensei and then back as the Dark Lord in season 8. And I was like, is this the same guy? It was like hard to believe that it was the same villain, but to be honest, I quite liked him a lot more with that. Because to be honest, I only ever preferred Sensei Garmadon because I thought it was really cool as Sensei. But to be honest, since Crystallized, I quite enjoyed Garmadon a lot more. The mayor guy, Mayor Trustable, whatever his damn name is, I don't like him at all. He's insane. And his assistant dude, isn't his assistant the guy who's always with clutch powers? Isn't that Dwayne? I mean, he looks like the same guy too, in my opinion. I could be wrong, or they could just be reusing characters. Yeah, he just exists without reason. And the cat is just absolutely mentally disturbed. Then there's Hound Dog McBrog. He's just like wild and weird, and just yeah, I can't quite describe it, but he's literally just insane, in my opinion. I mean, he full on drove off a cliff instead of using the helicopter. I'm just like, dude, you're literally mentally disturbed. And you just like, it's just telling the ninja to get out of the van with their hands up. I'm like, are you serious? They're gonna fall out of the van and they're gonna drown, you idiot. And you expecting them just to... Yeah, he was literally an idiot. But do you remember back in season 6, the Destiny's Bounty was in that house area, and Zane and Kai went to go get it, and there was that dog. Well, do you remember that guy there? He kind of looks like Hound Dog McBrog when he was a lot younger, and apparently he got a haircut. That's just my opinion and my theory that a Hound Dog McBrog was actually in season 6, and then from then all the way up to Crystallized, he got the role as like this really top-notch police officer thing. That's just my opinion because I can see a lot of similarity between the two characters. But yeah, I think that random guy in season 6 is actually Hound Dog McBrog that we know from Crystallize. But who knows whether that's true or not. I just think it is because it makes sense. They look like the shades, the similar face. The only difference is that the guy's hair was longer and then Hound Dog McBrog has really short hair. But then again, people could get haircuts like the ninja did. But that's just my opinion. Besides from that, it was like really good overall. I thought it would have been better if they used some of the other villains, like if they brought Moro back. Well, even though Moro was sort of like a good guy because he did help them out in Day the Departed, if he didn't help them out, he would have been another one of those bad guys that would have worked well in the group. Otherwise, villains like, let's see, what other good villain would have worked? What other good villains would have worked in that group? I mean, to be fair, Aspera and Pythor, the mechanic and Mr. F, they were quite well as the group. I mean, it was just Harumi and the Overlord I didn't really rate. So imagine if Garmadon was still evil, he could have been the leader of that group, obviously. And then, like, another villain instead of Harumi. I'd probably say Ultraviolet. She was really good villain. I quite liked her a lot. I mean, she was insane, but she was good at the same time. If Unagami was still a villain, that would have worked nicely as well. Oh yeah, I forgot about Vangelis. He existed in that season. Yeah, I didn't think Vangelis was a good villain option either, but then again, it was alright. I mean, yeah, there was only like so many villains that they could work with, but to be fair, it was quite good overall. Not gonna lie, and like a whole council like that quite worked well. And like I was imagining it like if all the villains that they faced were still villains, whether they were like back to being good or whatever the case may be or whatever. And those are like the main leaders from each one, so it would have been like, I know, Pythor, Scales, the Sphera, they would have had like the Overlord, the Harumi, Chen, they all the big main ones from the villain from each season in one whole council. That would have been really cool as well, because they had to fight like all the villains, like including Nardakan. Imagine if he was in the group as well. Then that would have been really interesting, because they would have had loads of massive villains and stuff. And that means they would have had to turn Zane into the Ice Emperor somehow again as well. And that whole group would have been really cool to see as well. And then Ninja having to fight all of the previous main villains and also save their friend Zane. That would have been really interesting to see as well. But it was good for what it was, though. Dragon's Rising. I don't know if anyone's seen it or not yet, because some people might be waiting for part 2, or others might not be interested, or whatever the case may be. It's good so far. I mean, like it's only like half of it, but it is quite good. Let's start off simple. The fact that the ninja have all been split up is really interesting, and they're on a journey to like find one another again, so that's really cool. They're also like discovering new worlds, because it's like all 16 realms merged together, which I think is really interesting. I quite like Aaron so far. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Some people pronounce it different. But he's quite cool so far. I quite like him as a character. Sora, she's alright. I don't like, it's just like, you know, not really much of an opinion yet, but that will probably change when I eventually see the other half, when it comes out, of course. Ryu, baby dragon, just like Chompy, what's not to love, okay? The dragons are cool in themselves, but the baby dragons is perfection. And Chompy and Ryu are just like the perfect baby dragons. And maybe those two could meet at some point and become great friends, because I couldn't just see that happening. However, it's quite good so far. I mean, Lloyd and his whole beard thing was weird, and I was literally like, what the actual frick am I looking at? But well, just roll with it. It was quite funny, but there was this like lines when I was just like, I said something and then Lloyd ended up saying something else or whatever, and it was just like, okay, this is going on, and then whatever. It was just all over, but I thought it worked really well. And it's quite solid so far. I mean, the Imperium dudes, they're whack. I mean, what's the thing he's going named Raptor or something like that? He's weird. Like majority of the villains, he's like one of those villains that are just like the sidekick, and they normally have a dumbass partner, you know. The Imperium dudes in general, you know, the ones with the full-on outfits that generally look like robots, with the funny round hats, you know, they're really good. I quite like them. I know they're like really stupid, but you know, sometimes stupid villains are fun villains, you know. I quite like the stupid villains, you know, like you have the main guy, his sidekick, or like a certain group of villains that are the main ones, and then you have like the two dumb little sidekicks, but they're well known, and they get to do like very important roles. Like those two in season 4, what were their names? Whatever, Chomp and Nick Knock or something. I can't remember. I remember Chen called one of them Flip Flop at one point. Those two were cool. Those two were quite cool. Villains like that, I quite like those dopey villains, just because. The main villains in general, though, Raptor is just an absolutely idiot. I don't really have much opinion on him though yet. Lord Ross, I think he's quite cool as was it tiger, is he, or is he a lion? I can't remember. Oh yeah, tiger, because Lloyd said there's a tiger guy now, not a lion. But he is quite cool. I do like tigers, but I prefer the orange and black kind, not the kind that he is. But oh well, he's still really cool. I quite like him. I feel like he's gonna end up betraying the Imperiums and joining the Ninja at one point. I can just see that happening. Like, looking at his character, he's like full on their side, and then as it slowly turns on, I can see him wanting to like betray the Imperiums. He's changing his mind. I can just see that. That could just be my opinion, because I'm stupid. But either way, he is a cool character. Empress Beatrix, there isn't really much that I can say about her just yet, but to be fair, I don't really like her that much so far. She's just one of those characters that are just like, there's not enough to talk about yet, but whatever. And Dr. LaRoe, I absolutely hate her. If I had a chance, get rid of her. No, just go. I don't really like her at all. And what they do to the dragons is absolutely unbelievable, and I would literally, if I was in the show, I would literally rip their Lego heads off, because that is just, no, it is basically animal abuse, and that is not correct. And I just love the dragons a lot, and I just think that what they're doing is completely wrong, and they're mentally insane. They've been bonked on their brick brain cages, seriously. I don't know why they think that is right in any shape or form. I mean, imagine it if it was the other way around. The dragons were using the human energy. Common sense. And then again, it makes sense of why it's called Dragons Rising, because the dragons will rise up to the Imperiums and use their dragon powers to send them back to the realm they came from. Speaking of powers, Wildfire with her powers are really cool. I quite like her. She's a wild card, to be fair. She's probably my favorite character so far. There is, even though we know fudge cakes. We don't know a lot about her, but we know that she was like raised by a dragon and a robot. So we know that much. And I think that's really cool that we got to see that. And to be fair, I think that was really cool in itself. Like, being raised by a dragon, that is so cool. And I think the flashback scene was really adorable and wholesome, in my opinion. I really liked it. And yeah, I just really like her as a character overall. She's wild, but I love it. Hence her name. As Lloyd said, the crazy child. She's crazy, but it's in a good way. And her powers are pretty cool. Obviously they're not fire, because you can tell there's a difference between her powers and Kai's powers, but they are quite similar, and I think that's really cool. And I can just see Kai and Wildfire just doing duos a lot. And if they ever bring in Skylar in the second part of the season, I can just see those three doing a fire and whatever Wildfire is trio. They'd be a great trio to do, with Skylar using Kai's fire and Kai using his fire, of course, and then Wildfire with her powers. That would be a great trio to use. I could literally see that being a thing. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And the source dragons, I think they're quite interesting. I mean, the big dragon underneath the floor, like in the basement or whatever, he was really interesting, and it's kind of weird how the dragons talk in a way, but it is interesting. And the fact that we're learning more about the dragons, because they are like, it was like the dragon and the Oni, so we get to see more of that. um, and learn more like we did in Crystallize with the fact they have dragon forms. And yeah, I think that's really interesting. However, we don't really know how the merge started yet. We don't really know what happened. All we know that Master Wu was reading it and it wasn't supposed to happen for a long time. But it would be interesting to find out why the merge happened and how it happened, and if there's a way to get everything back to the way it was. Well, as normalish as possible, obviously, because the memories are going to be there. But overall, I think it's pretty good, and I can't wait to see the other part and see what they're able to do with it in the future. And since it's called Dragons Rising, it will be nice to see the ninja with their dragon forms again. I mean, maybe their dragon forms could, like, we know how Sora gets her powers from Ryu, basically, and then Lloyd was able to get that power boost with the big dragon one. I'm still new to this season, like all the rest of you. But basically, if Lloyd could get that big kind of a power boost from the dragon, imagine if they all had their dragon forms and had the power boost from the dragons. Imagine how powerful that could be. I mean, that kind of power could be the power to potentially like reverse the whole thing and be able to fix the merged realms and send them back to the individual 16 that they are. To me, that would just make a lot of sense because we reveal that they have dragon forms to crystallize, and it would be nice to see those again. And with the dragons being able to like boost the ninja's powers, it would make a lot of sense that they would be able to boost the dragon power, and then the ninja use the dragon power burst to fix the problem with the merge and send everything back to normal as normal as possible. I think that would work potentially, and that would be really a good thing just to use just to send everything back to normal. But Dragon's Rising is said to go on for a long time. But it's interesting as it is to keeping Ninjago that way. It's obviously causing a lot of problems with all the merge quakes and stuff. So we'll obviously have to go back to how it was eventually. So if they're going to fix it, I think that would be a really good way to do it. But I don't know. I that's just a random thing that I came up with again on the spot. But to be fair, that would actually really work. Let me know what you guys think on that, because I think that could be possible. But yeah, it is a pretty solid season so far, and I can't wait to see more of it. So that's just some of my opinions of the Ninjago seasons and stuff. I kind of started rambling about all the characters and stuff towards the end, but yeah, those are my opinions and all the characters and stuff and the seasons and whatnots. Let me know what you guys think and tell me which is your favorite Ninjago season and villain and whip and whatever else you want to tell me what's your favorite thing about Ninjago, because it can be absolutely anything. But I hope you enjoyed, and remember guys, this is just my opinion. If you don't like it, fine. If you disagree, fine. I don't care. Just please don't start being like, oh, you whatever, no hate. And if you say something, if you agree with me, then good. If you disagree and share your opinion, that's fine. I respect all opinions. But if you're not going to respect mine, then I'm not going to respect yours. It works two ways, people. But besides on that, I really enjoy talking about the Ninjago seasons. And obviously, I'll probably do an update on this, just talking about Dragons Rising when the part 2 finally comes out. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And I hope you guys enjoy. See you all very soon. Bye!